100 mental health workers or nurses, and then speeding up the permitting process so we can build more homes faster. But as an overarching theme, we're all going to work together, right? This is our team. We're going to collaborate, and not just amongst the 11 of us, but with all of the regional mayors and councillors, and with the Prime Minister's office, the Prime Minister, and Victoria as well. So we're really excited about it.
So what is the biggest challenge, you think, for you and your team?
The biggest challenge,
In terms of you talking about your 94 points, things you wanted to do and to hire more police, and just now when you were making your speech, you also made a plea to the federal government and the provincial government.
Yeah.
So what are the biggest challenge and you think
Yeah.
to
From that perspective, when you look at what's going on, not just in the downtown east side, but throughout our city, these challenges are multi-jurisdictional. So the city, we do have some levers, but when it comes to healthcare, it's the province. When it comes to federal funding for housing, that would be the federal government for the most part. So we have to coordinate our efforts, and we really want to put partisanship behind us and address these challenges, from a united way, acting like, we're all Canadians trying to solve one of the biggest challenges our nation has ever seen. So that, just getting everyone coordinated, that's going to be a pretty big challenge.
And one of the prerequisites of any supermajority is that there's always concern, and your critics have said that there's concern that you would that ABC Vancouver would railroad other dissenting councillors. What promise can you give to the public and your fellow non-ABC councillors right now that won't happen and they will have a say on this council?
Sure. Well, I think actions speak louder than words, and we've already shown that. When it came to, let's say, appointing individuals to Metro, the easy thing would have been to appoint all ABC councillors, and we did not do that. We appointed Adrian Carr, who's one of our partners, and super excited about it. And Pete Fry is an alternate. Christine Boyle, she is amazing, and she's going to be leading. She's going to be chairing UNDRIP, as an example. So we've already, we can say whatever we want, but I think actions speak louder than words. We're post-partisan. I don't care what party anyone ran for. We are 11 people in this chamber with diverse lived experiences, and I think that's where you get your best answers, when you're actually open to listening to other people and coming up with better solutions. So, and the city will see this over the next 4 years.
ABC had put up its full platform during the election, but then that was taken down. Why was it taken down?
Oh, it's just like technical website stuff. But the platform still lives. I think every single reporter in this city has a physical copy of it, and you'll see it again. You'll see it again once we revamp our website. You'll see it. So it's not a big deal.
In regards to the 100 nurses and 100 officers, we're seeing hospitals that have nurses to get by right now. So I guess, for one, just from a logistics point of view, how is that going to work, and also from a financial standpoint, how's that going to work?
Sure, we're still working out those details, but what I can tell you is we've had great conversations with the Vancouver Police Department and Vancouver Coastal, and we've had great discussions with individuals in the Prime Minister's office and provincially. So things are moving, and you'll see more action on this file over the next couple of months.
How much help does Vancouver need from the federal government and the province? You mentioned it in your speech, like, we need help. How much help do we need and when?
Yeah, we need a lot of help, and we need it now. If you just go through the downtown east side, you can see it. And so will it happen all at once? Probably not, but we need to get started, and we need to be bold, and we need the entire nation to know that we are facing one of the greatest challenges our nation has ever seen. And what happens in Vancouver affects the entire country. And so we need to be united on this. And it doesn't matter what political party you belong to or what your ideology is. We have a humanitarian crisis on our hands, and it's something that we need to solve now. We have to stop talking about it, and we have to start doing.
Along that same line of thinking and conversation, Vandu was quite persistent in its rally yesterday about saying that there's not enough money in the pool for social housing, as well as some of the other platform promises like hiring 100 police officers. What can you say to convince them that there's something that does matter?
Well, so it goes back to the original comment. We need a lot of help from the provincial and federal governments. Because if Vancouver tries to solve this challenge on our own, we will not be able to do it. And we need to be clear about that. So when it comes to mental health, addictions, anything healthcare related, we need the province. We need a lot of help from the province. When it comes to housing, province and the feds.
And say you don't get that, then what do you prioritize?
Well, we plan to get it. You know, the great thing is we've had incredible conversations with the Prime Minister's office and the Premier's office, or Premier Designate Eby's office. And I can tell you one thing, everyone's been incredibly generous. We all share the same goals, and people truly want to solve the problem. So I'm very optimistic. It will still be challenging, but I'm optimistic because we're all on the same page.
The three incumbent ABC councillors who were re-elected have given notice already on some motions that they plan to introduce at the next public meeting next week. I'm wondering, do you know yet what the first motion you might introduce yourself personally yet is?
Yeah, you know what, there's probably about 5 or 6 that we want to do, but you have to stay tuned. We want it to be a surprise, Dan. So.
And Ken, you being the first Chinese Canadian mayor being elected, last year Vancouver had a very bad reputation being named as one of the worst city in North America in terms of racial discrimination and hatred crime. So will this be also on one of your top priorities when you are sworn in? And how are you going to dealing with this? I mean, we heard lots of noise, but nobody actually really doing anything in terms of to tackle down that problem.
Sure. So there are a couple of things. First of all, any kind of violence or hate shouldn't be tolerated, and we will be working on it. And it's not just anti-Asian hate crimes; it's anti-Semitic, anti-South Asian. So the list goes on and on. So we will be addressing that. When it comes to the Chinese community and anti-Asian hate, we've already done a bunch of things, or we've said we're doing a bunch of things, and we're going to make them actionable in the next couple of weeks. We're putting an office in Chinatown because I'm a big believer, and we're all big believers. If you want to solve a problem or spot an opportunity, you need to be in the neighborhood on an ongoing basis. The fact that we are going to be hiring 100 new police officers and 100 mental health nurses, that is another step in that process. It won't solve it. We still have to get to the root cause of why there are these issues, but it is a start. The longer term solution is it's education at the end of the day. When you look at racism, hate, it all comes from a place of ignorance. And instead of trying to tell people that they can't do this and have a bunch of bylaws and trying to enforce these bylaws, we need to educate people on and celebrate all the amazing things that people in different cultures have done, like David Lam and Sophia Liang and Douglas Jung. The Chinese young men that decided to jump out of planes over Burma, to fight for this country that ended up getting, Chinese people of Chinese descent the right to vote in 1947. And there's so many celebrations that we have in the South Asian community, the Jewish community, with women, the LGBTQ2+ community. That's what we need to do longer term, and that's how we build a more inclusive, united city.
A much lighter question, how do you feel and how is it seeing, so much support out there?
It feels great. Personally, it feels awesome. But, actually the great thing is when you looked at that crowd, it wasn't about me, it wasn't about us. It was about a movement of individuals that actually love our city, and they actually want to see it become the best city on the planet again. And so that's what actually gets me really excited.
I may pivot to a councillor, if that's fine.
Yeah, no.
Maybe Councillor Boyle, we're going from a minority government for 4 years to now a majority government. How does that change the role for you? And if either Councillor Fry or Councillor Carr want to answer as well, how does that change your role on council this time?
So I'll start by saying I have particularly appreciated the sentiment that we're all working together. We have a huge challenges to face, and we each have a role in stepping up to that. I know there are a number of places of shared values and overlap that I look forward to working with other folks. And where there's disagreement, like we heard in the ceremony, I think we have a responsibility to disagree well and respectfully. And I certainly will speak up. I was elected to work hard on the housing affordability crisis, on the climate crisis, on the poison drug crisis, and more. And I plan to work with a huge amount of focus and dedication on those issues. And like I said, work together wherever possible and stand up strongly for folks who are struggling and marginalized at every chance.
And if it's fine, Councillor Carr.
Great, thanks very much. Well, first of all, in the last council, Pete Fry, myself, our former colleague Mike, we worked really strongly and very collaboratively with Christine, with Lisa, with Rebecca, with Sarah. So that will continue. And I expect become stronger. Certainly Ken Sim, the mayor, had reached out well before this election to talk about that. So I am hopeful in that regard. I think there's a big, probably a lot of shared values and goals, but where it's going to come to a crunch, I believe, is around the budgets. That's where we voted differently more often than not in the previous council. So I think it's going to take some work to know where we get the money from to actually solve the big problems that we need to within this city. I'm particularly keen around the climate crisis and the fact that we can't defund that. We absolutely have to, for the sake of our children and future generations in this city, deal with that, and that is going to take some money and collaboration with other levels of government.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, can you just talk about how you feel about being first-time elected people, the council from mainland China
Okay.
background, and how much input? You coming from the health industry, industry, and how do you think you can utilize your expertise in terms of to help people?
Sure. I'm going to talk in English first. English first and then Mandarin. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I think I really appreciate Canada for accepting me. I came here when I was 23 years old as an international student, barely speaking the language, without even know where Stanley Park is. And I think I really appreciate so many people helped me along the way. I work extra hard to build my life, to build my family, to build my career here. So I really appreciate the core value of Canada, which is diversity, inclusivity, and also our democracy system. You know, when I was seeing Old Canada, I was almost crying. I think in no other country in this planet my story is even possible. So I really, I also understand, humbly understand my story, my journey is only part of a larger immigrant story in Canada. So I really appreciate everyone who came before me. That might include yourself, your parents, and your grandparents, maybe generations before them. So together we built such an amazing country, amazing city. We need to work together, make this city even better. So that's how I feel. I'm going to talk in Mandarin now. 我非常感谢加拿大的价值观，就是包容多元。感谢我们的民主系统，民主的这个体制，这个让我从一个留学生，几乎不说英文的留学生，成为一个温哥华的市议员。所以我刚才说的，我刚才唱这个加拿大国歌的时候，我几乎要哭了，因为我觉得我这个成长这个经历，在世界上任何国家都不可能，只有在加拿大成为了这个可能性。所以这个我就刚才也是这个非常感谢这个在我之前来到加拿大的这些朋友们，你们一起为我们创造了这么美丽的一个国家，这么美丽的一个城市，我们应该把它建设得更美好，好吧？谢谢 Lisa。Okay.
Your background, your health background.
Okay.
Why you think that's extremely important?
Sure, I will do that. Yeah. Yeah, so I work at healthcare industry in the past 15 years. So as everyone knows, everything we do in healthcare is evidence-based. Like the doctors see the patient, how we run the hospital. So in the past 10 years, I work as a senior manager working at the BC Children's Hospital under Provincial Health Services Authority. So that's the mentality I'm going to bring to the City Council, which is evidence-based. So all the decision, all the policy has to be evidence support, but not emotion. So I'm going to bring that mentality to the City Council. In Mandarin, so 我一直在医疗系统工作，在医疗系统这个，无论是医生给患者看病，还是我们医院的运营和管理，都必须以证据为支持。我要把以证据为支持这个理念带到温哥华市议会，然后让这个以更多的这个证据来支持政策的这个制定。然后因为政策的制定是影响到每一个人，必须以证据为支持，而不是以情绪为支持。Thank you, Lisa. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we won a majority. but also the way we want it. Look, we had 4 years to build a team that truly reflects Vancouver and the shared core values that we have. And so I look at, not just the 7, by the way, I look at all 10 of the individuals that stand shoulder to shoulder with me. I have a lot of respect for them. They're my partners, and it's going to be one heck of a ride over the next 4 years.
All right, thanks,
Thank you.
Rob.
Thank you.
Thank you.